This is what I
What
get for
the-
not listening to the video.
What? First off, now Taffy, I don't know how many times I have to tell you about music in the beginning of videos, and I also don't know why you want to go to war with me. If there's one more of those, we will never be playing Taffy
Okay,
videos
so
in the beginning again.
have
There's
you
nothing
seen
funny
that?
about that.
Have you seen? Have you seen the John Hamm clip on Instagram and stuff?
No, I have no
You haven't
idea what
seen the
that
meme?
is a reference to. No, not at all.
Well, okay, your face is so similar to John Hamm's. I'm like, Taffy, put Ant's face on it. But the music was different. It wasn't supposed to. I don't know.
There should be no music in our intro videos.
It is what gets us copyrighted.
Every video gets a copyright strike, and we don't get to monetize the video. Don't put music in the intro videos. And I started off in a bad mood in the freaking green room because my son's fat friend was over my house and he broke my freaking chair. So I started in the green room screaming at my son before the stupid show started, and Rob's sitting there uncomfortable, just like, what is going on right now? Then I get to open to that ridiculous video. Taffy, this is not good. I'm not happy with you right now, Taffy. You're supposed to be on my side.
This is my fault, Taffy. I told you what to do. Well, not the music.
No more Rob
suggestions.
I'm not. You know, I started the day off really happy, really excited because I announced that we're finalizing. I'm like, I am
Scrooge.
certainly.
He's Scrooge tonight.
Oh man,
Call me Marley.
It was just like, if you guys saw what happened in the green room before we started, I came down, I go to sit in my chair, and this isn't my chair. I grabbed the chair out of my son's. This is and like even this one, it's not. My chair. He broke the back of it, or his friends did, and I can't even sit in it. So I was flipping out, screaming about that. But I started off. We're finalizing the details on the pilgrimage. So the pilgrimage is going to be in December. And I just put out a tweet today about it, and I got a ton of people responding, which is really good.
Yeah, for the first time in 3 years, Anthony logged into his Avoiding Babylon email address.
It's true. I'm like, Rob, how do I log into my own email here?
I've only been paying for it for 3 years.
Yeah, but you always tell me if something important comes in. It's like, so all right. So here's the thing: we are skipping San Giovanni Rotondo because that's where all the Rupnik art is, and we replaced that with Sorrento and Capri. So we're going from Rome, 3 days in Rome, driving down to go see Pompeii, the island of Capri or Capri. We'll hit Naples while we're down there.
Capri is most famous for Nero, right?
I think so. Well, Pompeii, I can't wait to go to, just because Pompeii, like Mount Vesuvius, erupts in 72 or 73 AD. It's like right after, maybe 80 AD or something.
79 AD.
Yeah, something like that. And right after the temple is destroyed. So we're gonna go down there, see the ruins in Pompeii, go to the island of Capri. Then we're gonna come up and go head towards Assisi. And on the way to Assisi, we're gonna stop in Loreto. We're going to stop at Lanciano, see the Eucharistic miracle at Lanciano. Then we're going to go to Assisi. We're going to hit Orvieto. There's a ton of stuff we're doing. We're going to do it in December of next year, early December. It's going to be like November 30th to December 10th. If anybody is interested, we're only going to have like 30 spots available because we're keeping it at one bus. And I also want to make it way cheaper than any other pilgrimage out there. So like Taylor Marshall's doing his pilgrimage. It's like $5,300 or something. Joshua Charles, same thing. It's like $5,300. We're keeping this one around $4,000. So in order to do that, I'm going to try. In order for me to get it as cheap as I can, I need to know if we could fill the bus, because the more people that come, the cheaper it could be. But we're not going over one bus. We're keeping it at one bus. This way here, it's an intimate trip. It's going to be an amazing time. I'm hoping if there's like single girls that have always wanted to visit Europe and are afraid to go on their own, like you're going to have a ton of chivalrous men to look after you. You'll be able to come, feel safe. If there's single guys that want to go, maybe meet a girl, maybe that'll work up, and we'll be able to set you guys up. Either way, it's going to be an amazing time. If any age, I mean, honestly, we already, any age, I don't care, but it's going to be a really good time. Discount pilgrimage. We'll be sleeping on the streets.
Just the men. Just the men.
No, we'll make sure the ladies have beds. I promise. You boys, you're getting cots. But no, it's going to be an amazing time. It's going to be 10 days in Italy. We're going to keep it as cheap as we possibly can. There's just from a tweet today, I got like 15 people that emailed me and are interested. There's only going to be 35 spots that we give out to this thing. So once if you are interested, send me an email at team@avoidingbabylon.com. Team@avoidingbabylon.com. It is going to be an amazing time. We're going to have this is the code for all. This is all code for there will be co-sleeping. Look, if you want to be cheap, you got to share a bed. I don't know. No, it's not. Nobody's sharing.
Now with the opposite sex.
Nobody's sharing beds. Everything's gonna be fine. Don't worry. We're gonna have an amazing time. So, all right. So that's just a quick release. I can't even give official details yet because I need to know how many people are coming. I'm going to try and keep this thing around $4,000, which is unheard of. Every other pilgrimage is at least $1,400 more expensive. So yeah, team@avoidingbabylon.com if you guys are interested. So, okay. So now the past week, I have been watching the unraveling of TPUSA.
Well, hold on. Before we should do our other stuff we got to do.
Okay. Oh, that's my cue. Okay.
Well, I mean,
We're gonna jump.
you're the one that likes to talk. Yes.
Okay. So also Recusant Sellers. If you guys, you want to go that first? You want to go?
Oh, that's
fundraising?
requisite. That's requisits.
Oh, that's Recusant.
That's yeah.
What is
I
it?
have two separate ones.
Okay. So wait, what is that?
I know what you're doing.
Listen,
this is our wine sponsor.
There is still time to get a bottle of wine for New Year's Eve. That's what I will tell you guys. Bring a bottle of wine to your New Year's Eve party. Go to recusantsellers.com. Use code BASED at checkout for 10% off. They deliver to most states. I think there's a couple that they won't deliver to. Yeah, 5 states that they won't deliver to. But go check out recusantsellers.com. Use code BASED at checkout for 10% off. Yeah, I mean, I think you guys missed the Christmas deadline unless you overnight it or something. But even then, I think it's going to be too late for that. But New Year's Eve is coming up, and then we'll probably have another big push for Valentine's Day. But you guys can still get it in for New Year's Eve. Also, we have
this is the tip jar
company potato chip company is interested in sponsoring.
Yeah.
Right? So we'll give them a freebie tonight. But Fat Thins, they're a Minnesota company. They just sent me. I just got mine today. I didn't even taste them yet. But Rob said they're really good.
They are this is 100% honest, the best potato chip I've ever had.
Well, I haven't tried them yet, so I can't back that claim up yet.
They are just 3 ingredients. It's potatoes, sea salt, and beef tallow. No seed oils, nothing like that. And it's the best tasting chip I've ever had.
Right,
my
so
2-year-old killed the whole bag.
They got a free plug from us tonight, but hopefully they'll decide to jump on board. And we're also hoping to bring on Black Monk Rosaries in January. They had mentioned some interest.
And we have a special Lenten sponsor potentially. Did I even tell you this one?
No.
A company called shoplobster.com.
Oh, that's right. You did tell me.
They ship lobster meat out of Maine, and they're thinking they would want to be a Lenten sponsor.
All right, we're giving tons of free promos out tonight. Let's get back to the show now. No. One last promo is it's Christmas. It's the end of the year. If you guys enjoy our show and you would like to support us, it's basically just a Christmas gift. It's not really a fundraiser. We're not raising funds for anything, but we had a very expensive December. So if you guys would like,
we had to pay an accountant to set us up as an actual business.
Yeah, so we spent a little bit of money this month, but it would be nice for an end of the year Christmas gift. If you guys want, go right to our website or scan that little thing Rob's got up in the corner, and you guys could throw us a couple shekels for all the enjoyment you get out of us. All right, so now on to the topic at hand. My wife just texted me, babe, you threw the chair across the room. Was your mic on when you were screaming? Yes.
Yeah, but it was just to me.
Yeah,
it was just I that heard the whole awkward exchange.
Rob's the only one that heard me yelling. Can I tip if I don't like your show? Yes. Okay, so for the past week, I've been watching the unraveling of TPUSA. It is kind of a bizarre spectacle to watch. It started off, it had Ben Shapiro giving the opening speech, and he basically told everybody that they are cowards for not condemning Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes and Candace Owens. And then every speaker after that basically came and said, "Shut up, Ben, don't tell us what we have to do." So it just seemed turn the tip QR back on, please.
It's on the screen right now.
Thank you, Emily, very much. It was just this really bizarre thing. But I also I caught an episode of the Two Cities podcast, Theo's podcast, the other day.
Yeah.
And he interviewed this guy. I forgot his name. I feel terrible now. I think his name was I think he went with it's a pen name, Augustin something.
Riveting.
Dante Augustin or something like that. I'm sorry.
Okay.
Go check out Theo's podcast. But he basically gave his whole thesis on how all of these podcasters are just a giant psyop, and all of the stuff we're seeing is just kayfabe. Like it's all just a big circus. And each one of these podcasters that have like millions and millions of subscribers, they're all kind of set in the mold for each person's temperament. Like some people are like, you can see Candace's fans, they're like diehard Candace fans. Same thing with Fuentes, like they're diehard Fuentes fans. Then you get diehard Tucker fan, and you have everybody just kind of at war with each other, and everybody's emotions being manipulated. And
it's multiple like small cults of personality all against each other.
And not one of them, and especially like it really made me think when I saw Jack Posobiec come up with his rosary like this at the TPUSA event, just this weird emotional manipulation that they're doing. And they're all, it's really strange how you have all these different Christian factions forming, right? So you have the Catholics forming, and you have the Reformed, and you have the Zionists, and it's like this intra-Christian squabble that's going on right now. And none of the Catholics are really talking about the real root of the problem, which is sin, the flesh, and the devil.
Right.
Like it's all this emotional manipulation, but none of them are actually getting to the root of how the whole problem can get fixed, which is basically just penance and, like getting into your spiritual life and things like that. So it all really does seem like theater. This whole thing with the Eric,
they don't even have, for the most part, most of them don't even have like secular solutions to problems. All they care about is harping on the problems and riling people up
and tearing other shows down and like going at each other. And it's like he went into like even certain types of personalities, like the hardcore weightlifter kind of guy who's like obsessed with the gym. Check The Early Life of Ben Shapiro every single time. The BAP guys, the Bronze Age pervert guy, like all, and they get these young guys into Nietzsche.
The Vitalists. Yeah,
they're like, and they get obsessed with weightlifting, and it's just all of these different factions of. Now these people may not have necessarily gone in and intentionally became this psyop, but eventually they start getting bribed, or there's things like you saw Russell Brand today got charged with a rape accusation from
a few more in addition to what he's already been charged with
from like 26 years ago. Though it's kind of absurd to charge somebody with something for Majorian slander. Well, I will say this, because I never knew that's where Majorian was coming from until I heard this podcast, and it's like, oh, he's just a cliche Bronze Age pervert guy. He's just regurgitating that stuff. I get it now. I'm not knocking Majorian. I literally love Majorian, but that is their kind of the thing, and they get each person tuned to their temperament and their personality to jump on board with one of these personalities, and they all have like millions of followers, and it's really just a way for like what was he what's like Kabbalah, like to really just like manipulate people's emotions and keep them in certain camp. Now I don't know how much of that is true, but it does seem like the whole thing is theater at this point. Like everything from politics to like, it seemed like a prolonged MAGA rally, this TPUSA event.
That's what it was.
it was really bizarre, right? That they're coming out, and Erica Kirk is already basically crowning JD Vance as the candidate for 2028, and it's just a lot of weird stuff going on right now. And I don't know, man. I just see everything coming apart at the seams. Like the whole civil war within the right seems very manipulated. And even us talking about some of the things that we're talking about, getting caught up into it, the fact that we're all like, because even Ben Shapiro coming up and trying to make it like he's upset because Tucker won't condemn Fuentes and Candace, but really all this has to do with is Zionism.
Yep.
Like, and that is the issue at hand. It's like front and center, and no matter how much people try to move on from that topic, it's like it just keeps getting brought up, and it seems like they want this topic discussed ad nauseum. Was Charlie Kirk the catacomb? It's a good theory.
Yeah.
He was certainly restraining something.
His wife.
Oh my gosh, that might be the funniest line,
But also the most terrible at the exact same time.
Oh my goodness, I cannot believe you just came out with the line.
I couldn't help it. I'm sorry.
Charlie Kirk was restraining something. His wife. Holy cow.
Guys, it just came out. I'm sorry.
Rob, every so often you just drop a gem on everybody,
Oh,
man.
man. That was not great. I mean, it was, but that wasn't great.
No, because the Erica Kirk stuff plays into it too. Because I brought Erica Kirk up last night in my so all right. So last night my daughters wanted to watch a Christmas movie, so we're watching the Santa Claus, and the Santa Claus is on. And as soon as Tim Allen's character gets to the North Pole, the first thing you see is the head elf is a Jew named Bernard. It's like really strange. He's like, my name's Bernard. I'm like, he's like a New York Jew.
Well,
it's
well, the funniest part is when Tim Allen goes Barabbas, calls him
he's
Barabbas.
like calls him
He's like,
calls
no,
him
Bernard.
Barabbas, Barnabas, which Barnabas is one of the apostles. He's not one of the apostles, but he's
Yeah.
friend. Yeah, so Barnabas is connected with the apostles, but he's like calling him all these Jewish names. And then at the end of the movie, the wife was such a bad actress through the whole movie, and she starts crying. And I go, "Oh, she's a better actress than Erica Kirk." Just as like an offhanded comment, you know. And my daughters go, "Dad, there's something wrong with that woman." And I'm like, "Wait a minute, what? How do you guys even know about Erica Kirk?" They're like, "We need to show you something." They took me through like all these reels of Erica Kirk last night. They're like, "Look at her eyes. There's something off with her eyes. There's something off with this woman." And I'm like, wow, I don't know what's going on in my house right now. So it all really does just seem like this performative theater, everything, the Erica Kirk stuff, the Posobiec stuff is weird, man. I don't know, because like you want to support other Catholics, but him coming out with the rosary, like I don't know, man.
It's a weird event for it, right? I mean,
it's just strange. The whole thing is just weird. And then you tie in things like the first thing I think I sent you from this latest round of insane things I sent you. It should be underneath the new New York Bishop video.
Everything's underneath that.
That too was the first one underneath that too. I have to even address that for a second, because I took my video from work down that was on the channel. I took it down just, man, I was
Because you didn't want your uncle seeing you doing it.
No, not my uncle, not that uncle. It's because I got to see family on Christmas Eve.
Oh,
and like I didn't feel like explaining it, like, because I have normie family members that'll come across stuff sometimes, and I was like, let me just take this one down because I don't feel like explaining this one, but because that'll tie into the rumors about Barron's account getting hacked. Yeah, so a couple of days ago I had somebody reach out to me and send me the images of Barron's Facebook, and apparently it's his personal account, and on his personal account, he was liking some weird stuff. Let's just say that.
The account was liking some weird stuff.
Yeah, the account was liking some weird stuff. So somebody sent me all this and all the screenshots and stuff, and I was just like, what am I, like, it was right after I did the video of the New York bishop, which if you didn't see it, I don't know what to tell you guys. It wasn't kind. So I think this person thought like, oh, he's criticizing this in the hierarchy. Like, let me send them this.
Yeah, you don't want to be that guy everyone goes to.
I really don't. And the stuff that Barron's account was liking was like in line with, you know, stuff like that. So I was like, I'm not going to go near this. Like, I'm just going to leave it alone. And then the next day, somebody else came out showing all the things. And then Word on Fire comes out and says that Barron's account was hacked. And it's like, maybe, but if it wasn't, like, you can't be lying like that. Like, that's a flat out lie if it wasn't. And if it was, what does it mean? It's just a really strange situation. Like,
yeah,
we're all just sitting back and watching all this stuff happen in the hierarchy. Like, we're
always waiting for the other shoe to drop.
Always. And it's, part of me thinks the appointment of Hicks was intentional because he's on the softer side. Like the flagship diocese of the United States, essentially. He's going to be in the news all the time. Like, Dolan was constantly on Fox News. He's constantly in the limelight. Yeah. And that position is that. And it's like this softer man who kind of speaks with he speaks with like the cliche gay lisp. He kind of does. Like, there's no other way to say it. And for that guy to be the one that's always on the news and stuff, it seems like it's intentional to like just give this image off of the church. So like my mind is just like going there, and I'm just so like, oh my goodness, man. Like, can we just please have some men in the priesthood? And people were accusing me of like wanting some like masculine like LARP of a man, you know, and that's not what I'm looking for. Like, I don't need some caricature of masculinity as a priest. That's not at all. Like, it doesn't matter if a man is soft spoken. It's,
I say some of the manliest priests I've ever known were very soft spoken.
Is totally fine. What we're looking for is men who have like a real spiritual fatherhood at the core of their being, where sometimes that entails being a little stern about something, saying no, and just presenting like true masculinity, not a LARP, not a caricature of masculinity, just like a real masculine presence that and someone who actually cares about the well-being of souls. Like, we just haven't had real fathers in such a long time that it gets disheartening when you see this stuff. You're seeing these accusations against Barron coming in. Like, Barron's supposedly one of the good guys, and you're like, even the good guys are looking at Brazilian men's feet. Like, that's where we're at. Like what's going on, man? I don't know. So that's I don't know how I got on this. That's it. I get on. Oh,
I'm not sure either.
Part of the charade, like the show, like the charade of everything. It feels like him being put in there is meant to demoralize. Because when they asked Pope Leo why did they put him in there, he was like, "Oh, I can't answer that right now." Like, the reporter asked him, "Why'd you pick Hicks to be in New York?" And he kind of seemed like he was caught off guard. He was like, I can't answer that right now." So, you know, it's just, I'm not trying to. How is this calumny?
It's not.
Is it? I don't think it's calumny.
Not at all.
I don't think so.
You haven't made any claims.
I'm not even. I'm talking about image and just like how we present as a church. And there's this idea that like orthodoxy is this masculine thing, and that's why young men are flocking to orthodoxy and stuff. And it's like, if we don't put some real men at the helm of some of these things, or some real men in positions of even visibility, I don't know how we're supposed to attract men, because you need men to convert. Like there's a reason Christ chose 12 men as a body. And he didn't just choose 12 men, he chose 12 like blue collar guy, like fishermen. You ever see fishermen? Fishermen are like some of the most rugged dudes you ever come across. Like that, you know, and it's because there's a presence about men like that. And it's kind of, people were pointing out that my video was like, I'm a construction guy from a big machine, like, you know, like talking about the effeminate presentation of the latest bishop and stuff. And I wasn't even trying to, I didn't even think about that when I did it. I was just at work and I saw that video and I was like, oh man, let me just say this. But yeah, I think that the way things are being presented right now, it can be disheartening. Definitely can. It's not easy to, you're right. Like it feels like the other shoe is always going to drop as a Catholic. You're waiting for the next scandal to break. You're waiting for it. I mean, that could lead into
you're always waiting for your hero, whoever that is, to have some sort of scandal.
Yeah. Oh man. So all right, so we can go a few places with this. So that first clip I put underneath is this bizarre rant from what pastor is this? Greg Laurie. This is Greg Laurie.
Is it the self-hating white Zionist one?
Listen to how insane this is that he said what he says here.
Okay, so it's that one.
Yeah, let's go with Greg Laurie first, because we got a few videos we'll go over here. These are pretty nuts, some of them.
Give me a second to get it set up here.
Yeah, this is the forms of Christianity that are being presented right now are pretty outrageous, and this one is definitely one of them, where the way these Zionists think is that, listen to him. I mean, it sounds like he's saying Jewish blood has salvific value.
And I think it's so important because I'm not Jewish. I'm a Gentile. And when I did my 23andMe test, I was hoping, is there some Jewish blood in me somewhere? And I found out I'm hopelessly Gentile. I am white trash. I'm Scottish and Irish. And I said, you know, my love for the Jewish people came after I came into a relationship with Jesus Christ. I was a confused kid going the wrong way in life. I heard about Jesus. I began to read the Bible, learn your history. That's where my love came for you and for the book that came through you. Everything we have came through the Jewish people. I'm not Jewish. I was what? I did one of those 23andMe tests. I was hoping, you know, I have some Jewish blood.
Well, I think about what these people are saying. You can sort of toss it off there. Like
he's like Rachel
Dolezal.
Yeah, pretending to be black.
That is some psychotic thinking, especially when you read the New Testament at all. Like the whole point of it is that you are sons of the promise through faith, and not like these are the people telling you faith not works. That's what's insane,
right? Yeah.
These are the people telling you it's faith not works will save you, and they're like,
and yet they think they can be saved by coming up with all these weird, crazy workarounds for Saturdays.
Oh my gosh, man! Because all of this goes to the weird Shabbat Shalom stuff that Erica Kirk is doing, and the like all of this stuff is so strange that it's all happening now. Right? Like I don't know, man. The TPUSA stuff is bizarre, man. When you think about what the whole point of the arguing on stage is really about, like the whole thing is about Israel. It's what it comes down to.
That is what it comes down
all
to,
of this tension is built up around, and all these different factions fighting, and Tucker coming out with I'm not anti-Semitic, but I'm with the I'm just against the state of Israel stuff. And I feel like very few people are talking about, very few of the Christians that are even against the Zionist stuff. Like there's plenty of people talking about how the Jews are behind this and they're behind that, and it gets very conspiratorial, but very few people talk about like the way the story plays out. Like there's very few people talking about how we may view them innocently, but they don't view us innocently like that. Like the way we have handled this conversation, I think, is probably one of the better ways.
Like on the anti-Israel side, or I don't even like phrasing it that way, but you have the people that are only anti-state of Israel, right? Someone like, say, Eric Sammons, for instance. Then you have the people who go way too far, or I don't necessarily want to say too far, but go way far into the conspiracy world, like Candace. But you're right, that very few people are looking at it from like a theological sort of perspective.
Yeah, that's it. It's oh man, is this the new thing I'm saying now? Is this
to be fair? No, I think it's me. That's mine.
I don't know.
I don't know, man.
I don't know, man. Like, guys, look, we all have verbal crutches. All right, I don't know what to tell you. All right, so let's do. You want to do Sammons' article?
I don't care. I didn't read it.
I did.
The way you said that.
I love reading Sammons articles. I love me a good Eric Sammons article.
Yeah, I didn't know if I wanted to read that one or Kennedy Hall's third screed against Nick Fuentes in the last week or two.
I don't know what he's going for there. I don't know if he's. I don't know. I'm not gonna whatever. But the Eric Sammons one, he's basically reiterating what he's reiterated 1,000 times. But this one is why I'm a traditionalist, sorta. So the whole beginning of the article goes through like the good things about being a traditionalist, and basically it comes down to like the TLM and living, traditional devotions, all that stuff we would agree with. So scroll down. We don't have to read all this. This is not where the good stuff is. Keep going past when I first started. Another reason I'm a trad. Okay, so go up to it's not a natural state. Okay, and zoom in on that. Okay. Okay, so this is where he starts getting into why he's sort of Catholic. So
traditionalist.
It's simply not a natural state of being a Catholic to be in a constant state of conflict with the hierarchy. I realize there has been one historical instance when this is necessary for century Arianism, and we may be in such a period now, but to recognize how discordant it is, as Catholics, our default should be acceptance of what the hierarchy teaches and practices, yet for trads, it's become the opposite. Literally everything said by the Pope and the bishops is held in suspicion. I kind of agree with him on this.
I do agree with him up to this point, yeah.
Like there is something unnatural about constantly being at odds with the hierarchy, and this is what goes to you saying like you feel like you're always waiting for the other shoe to drop. So like we do have this air of suspicion from everything in the hierarchy now, and that's not a good state. Like it's really not. You should default to obedience, and you should default to trust in the Pope. It's just things are just so insane right now. Which is why, like, we've tended to not even discuss the hierarchy, and that's another reason why I took that video down, is because I kind of went against what I said. Like, I kind of just don't even want to discuss them. So I'll agree with him on this stuff, like having that critical spirit. So all right, let's scroll down, and we'll get into when he starts getting into the conspiracy stuff.
Right here.
Okay, so another area that makes me only sort of a traditionalist is the common and increasingly strident opposition to the Jews found in traditionalist communities. Now, I myself have been called a bitter anti-Semite. I don't know why. I really don't know why. Eric has like some of the most like milquetoast views on Israel. He has the libertarian view that we shouldn't give money to the state of Israel, which I don't know. So I'm no Zionist. In fact, I believe Zionism to be a heresy, but there's a distinction to be made between those who oppose the modern political entity of Israel and those who suggest or even outright state the Jews control the world or are the primary cause of most of today's problems. Yeah. But the Jews do run the world, and there are the, but I understand not wanting to go down that road constantly. Like, I don't know if that's a trad thing though. And like he says here, he's like, two of the most public figures in that can't be Michael Jones and Nick Fuentes are decidedly not traditionalists. So that's not a trad thing.
No,
I don't think it is, at least. I mean, that may be something that trads do discuss, but it's more just from a historical perspective of understanding what the role of the Jews has been, because they were dispersed amongst the nations. Like they were limited in what they were allowed to do. If you wanted to borrow money in the Middle Ages, you were not allowed to lend money as a Catholic. You had to go to a Jew to borrow money. Now they would lend at 40% interest, which was insane, you know, and that's where like usury laws came into play. And you would actually get like kings would come in and wind up borrowing money from Jews at 40% interest, and then they'd wind up like not being able to pay the loan off or reneging on the deal, and then that would eventually lead to a war, and you'd have
expulsion of the Jews.
Expulsion of the Jews, one of the two. So you'd either expel the Jews because you don't want to pay them, or the Jews would have some kind of manipulative authority over you, and they'd be like, go do this for us to pay off the debt. And like that's
kind of like the Rothschilds with the British monarchy.
Yeah. I mean, that's actually what happened, right? So to say that that's not a conspiracy, that's what happened, right? So bring it back up. We'll keep going through it. Because he gets into the most distasteful example of this delusion of Jewish control is conspiracy theories intended to deny the reality of the Holocaust and to defend Hitler, in spite of the fact that Catholic heroes such as St. Maximilian Kolbe, servant of God, St. Therese Neumann, and Dietrich von Hildebrand, ironically a godfather of the traditional movement, were adamantly opposed to Nazism and considered it demonic to its core. Too many trads. Go ahead.
I was going to. The irony of him putting St. Maximilian Kolbe in this is that Eric would call St. Maximilian Kolbe an anti-Semite for his views on the Jews and Jewish power.
Yeah,
because St. Maximilian Kolbe literally he quoted from the Protocols of the Elders of Zion. Like, is he anti-Semite, Eric?
Yeah, and the thing is, there probably were some good things that Hitler tried to do, but I don't think we're praising.
I've never
Hitler.
heard any Catholic actually defending Hitler or Nazism.
Yeah, and even when Fuentes does it, he's kind of like being ironic and talking about like the aura, you know.
He's doing it to force the Overton window. You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's not like, you know. For example, traditionalist priest Father James Maudsley and his followers have suggested that the Nazi gas chambers were not used to kill Jews in spite of overwhelming eyewitness and other evidence. So this is what we're getting into, because some of the conversations that are starting to be had are like, were those eyewitness accounts coerced? And the idea behind, can you even question this stuff? Like that's and Eric doing this kind of reinforces people that it's like the evil of even questioning these things, and simply are just asking questions. But it's clear from their line of inquiry that they wish to downplay or even deny that. I don't wish to downplay or deny something happened if it happened. Like, I actually wish to get to the facts of the matter and to the truth of it, and that's like actually what we've been trying to do. So. And his followers, he's talking about us. Yeah, I would think so. I mean, and then he gets into the stuff about the moon landing. All right, so since the time that there's arisen throughout the world and throughout the church an attitude that one cannot criticize Jews for any reason whatsoever. Any such criticism is the first step. So the argument goes to another Holocaust. That's ridiculous. And further has led to special status for Jews, one that is understandably resented by a growing number of people. Yet denying historical truths is a reactionary and decidedly non-Catholic way to respond.
You haven't shown it's an historical truth. All you've done is say that you can't question whether it's an historical truth.
Yeah, and you said there's eyewitness accounts and other evidence, but I mean that's kind of I don't know where to. I don't even know what to do with this. I don't even know what to do with this. It's like I think Eric just wants to be comfortable in criticizing the state of Israel, but not actually discussing any kind of enmity between Jews and Christians, right? Like that's not even on the table for him, because we had Eric on and we tried to discuss that with him, and it was just like a conversation that wasn't allowed to be had. Yeah. So that can lead to Gavin Ashenden and what he said about us.
Well, wait, what did he say about us?
Oh, you didn't see that? I'll send it. Hang on.
Have you already sent it?
I don't think I sent it there, but I will. Hang on. Let's see. Okay, so I will send this to.
You know, it's important to note that in the earliest eyewitness testimony, like from Elie Wiesel and stuff, there is no mention of gas chambers at Auschwitz.
Well, that's what we talked with
Michael Jones about.
Michael Jones about, and like what originally the Holocaust narrative was about Dachau or Dachau, right? I don't know how to pronounce it.
Dachau. Yeah.
Dachau. So that there were Catholic priests there because Hitler hated Catholics. Like Hitler hated Catholics, and he sent all these Catholic priests to Dachau, and he was starving them. So they prayed a novena they prayed a novena to Our Lady, and by the end of the novena, Goebbels or somebody told them, like, you cannot starve these priests, you have to feed them, and then eventually these priests get out. Now, after the Holocaust, that is the narrative. It's like that there's meaning to suffering, that prayer and penance, that war is like a punishment for sin, and that there's meaning to that suffering that comes, and that penance can lead to atheism. Like war was like the punishment for atheism, right? Because atheism was growing in Germany,
right?
And that, like, so go back and watch our Michael Jones interview. It really was enlightening because I had never even heard any of that. So then after that, then, you know, they gain control of the narrative, and they start changing it to, you know, even the idea of calling it a Holocaust. Like you're talking about, like, Jesus Christ is the Holocaust. Like he is the final burnt offering.
Did Anthony freeze for everyone? Okay, you back?
Yeah, you lost me for a second. So all right, so we'll go to Gavin Ashenden. I just sent it.
We got it.
Okay, so Gavin continues to take subtle jabs at us and now implies that we're morally complicit for the attacks in Bondi because we platform Father Mosley. So Catholic media and moral complicity. Should there not be some Episcopal repudiation of a celebrated traditionalist priest who makes his name and sells his books by claiming the Jews falsified the Holocaust numbers to galvanize political sympathy for their nationalistic ambitions?
First off, right away, that's a straight up lie. His books have nothing to do with the Holocaust narrative.
Yeah, they really don't at all.
So that's just a straight up lie, Gavin.
But the thing is, like, even if everything happened exactly the way they claimed, they still do galvanize political sympathy for their nationalistic ambitions with it, right? Like they do that. So, I mean, quoted as describing the Holocaust as the biggest lie in history. The Holocaust didn't happen. He'll say things like that. He challenges the word anti-Semitism with one report describing his view that it is completely meaningless and that history describing the Holocaust or the church's post-Vatican II reforms is misused or being weaponized against traditional Catholics. It's being weaponized against the entire church.
I mean, anti-Semitism, that word is completely meaningless because of people like you, Gavin Ashenden. Sorry.
Yeah, YouTube and X periodically remove him in protest. In response, some British and American Catholic podcasters and Catholic media so this is a shot at Catholic Unscripted and us,
and probably Theo,
yeah, if he comes across his radar. So British and American Catholic podcasters and Catholic media platforms coyly offer him a voice on their outlets, ostensibly to offer views on liturgy and ethics, but in fact deliberately choosing to give him oxygen and further publicity for his denial. Yeah, I mean, we've straight up just talked to him about it. I'm not coyly doing anything. Like, I've just had Father Maudsley on, and it's not the discussing the liturgy stuff is kind of gets to the heart of all this.
It's tied into it, and actually the denial, if you want to call it that, is to me actually one of the, like, whether or not it happened or didn't happen, the story of it, true or not, is being used in the way it's being used. It was used to get the Catholic Church to change her liturgy, to change her teachings. It's being used in daily life to get everyone to bow down to the state of Israel, So whether it happened or not, for me, that's secondary. The story has to lose its power in our lives.
Yeah.
then maybe then we can objectively figure out what actually happened.
And have like a rational conversation
Right.
around things. Yeah, it's just, oh man. And then he wrote another one. It's so he also says that the church has a history of anti-Semitism. Oh, this is crazy. So he also seems to be saying that the church has a history of anti-Semitism and that Catholic hatred of Jews is what led to the Holocaust. Okay, so let's read what he actually says. There have been and tragically still are some deep and unpleasant rivers of anti-Semitism running through the Catholic Church. There is no need to look deeply into the history of the West and the Church's record of anti-Semitism. There's no need to look deeply into it. I don't.
And the
It's
next line is
culminated-
what's disgusting.
It's culminated with the Holocaust.
So he's saying the church's anti-Semitism is
Culminated in the Holocaust.
Yes.
Ought to provide a shock greater than any of the combined horrors of our history. The mirror the Holocaust holds up to our face rightly exposes our constant vulnerability to scapegoating and ethnic hatred. No,
First, that first paragraph, I swear I've read that exact paragraph written by numerous liberals. You know what I mean? Like that is a liberal atheist position right there. Could have come from the mouth of your average lesbian Anglican bishop, Gavin. I thought you left that church.
man, it's just like I don't know what I don't know, because the whole thing like that you saw happen at TPUSA comes down to this. It's like there's unless you're doing what Gavin's doing, you're going to be accused of anti-Semitism, right? So Megyn Kelly is like flat out a Zionist. She's like, oh, I support the state of Israel. I do that. But like, I think maybe you guys should like tone down the rhetoric here. She's an anti-Semite. She's a cat. Like that's where we're at, where it's the accusation of anti-Semite is just thrown at everybody now and everything. And it doesn't matter what you actually think. And part of me thinks they're doing that on purpose. Like they're not stupid, right? They know that they're purposely they're turning people off with what they're doing, and it almost seems intentional, like they're trying to rile people up and they're trying to get these things like that. I don't know, man. It just a lot of it seems like show like a show to me. It's all just very bizarre. So yeah, so you know, the accusations from Gavin, I don't know. I'm trying to just handle this conversation in a way that doesn't seem like we're conspiracy theorists or anything like that. Like I don't know how else you go about this conversation. Like I go into it with an open mind. I want, if we're Catholic, like I want to hold the Catholic position on this. But when you look into what the church has always taught on this, it's very consistent up to a very specific period in time, and that's the war. Once World War II happens, it's like the Catholic position just kind of gets deflated. It doesn't even change. It just gets deflated. And then after Nostra Aetate, all we're talking about is God wills the diversity of religions and the Abrahamic faith house and things like that. It's I don't know, man. Like how do people not see the connection there? I don't know. That's all I see is the connection there.
You know, and I mean, I'll say that I still fall on the side that like something like the Holocaust happened. You know, that the Nazis did target and purposefully kill Jews. But that doesn't mean I'm going to
internment camps and did all that. Yeah,
right,
that's
right.
Yeah,
but that doesn't mean I'm going to sit back and let someone like Gavin Ashenden slander a good and holy priest like Father Maudsley, just for having the gall of bringing up, you know, questioning a historical event. We can question every other historical event in history, except that one. Why? That's the question. Why?
And the whole like the hatred of ethnic this or that, like no, I have not heard a single person like talk about any kind of violence of any kind. We're just talking about like how absurd everything is in our faces right now.
Father Maudsley went to prison for years when he was younger, fighting for a different ethnicity than him. And you have the fucking temerity to call him names, Gavin Ashenden. Are you joking me?
Yeah, he's
liberal cuck.
he's such a weird dude, man. Like, it's so funny. If you listen to him talk about Protestants, he will go on these vile rants about Protestants. He'll say things about like Calvin Robinson that you're just like, and that's like a person he knows.
Yeah.
Like, he'll say some of the most mean, vicious things about someone he knows. This is why when you get down to it, whenever you get to people who push for things like Gavin is, and that goes for things like immigration also, right? Like people who are pushing these platitudes for some far off thing that they never actually encounter to virtue signal. It's like, I'm for immigration. That's because you live in a super white neighborhood where you don't have to deal with like the actual consequences of immigration. I defend the Jews. That's because it makes you look like you're some moral grandstander, but you don't actually care about this issue. But then it comes to a person you actually know and you're ruthlessly mean to them.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like that's the difference, right? So these people that push for immigration, they have all these problems in their own family because they can love some far off idea because it never actually touches their life. And it's like, oh, I'm a virtuous person. I support immigration. But then you don't speak to your child or you don't speak to your sister.
Yeah. Yeah, because they
Like,
wore a mega hat once.
Because they disagree with them on politics. Gavin will cut people out of his life because they disagree with
his
him
friends
on
and
politics.
partners.
I mean, that's what it seems like, right? Like they had a conversation with Father Maudsley and he just ends the relationship. Like that to me, like don't talk to me about the moral complicity and knock it off. You're not a good man. Like you're not a good guy. You are a fraud. Like in all honesty, you're not actually like this. You put on the airs with this proper prim and proper. I speak like I'm an aristocrat from England, and I must say I was the chaplain to the Queen, but I will screw over the people who actually mean something to me in my life because I disagree with them. Like I don't actually care what you think of me, Gavin. I'm going to be honest. You're not actually a good person. You can pretend you are, and you may fool people with your accent and make it like you're a good man. But I see what you do to people, like the things you've said about Calvin Robinson and the way you just kind of abandon Catholic Unscripted. Like I'm sorry, but like you don't fool me in even the slightest bit. And I didn't even mean to go here with this conversation.
Yeah, I kind of started this. That's my bad.
I didn't mean to go here with this conversation, but I'm just so tired of people pretending they're good people. Like, do not do that.
And,
like,
and this isn't you and me putting on airs. Like, we'll be the first to admit. Like,
no,
be better than us, people.
Like,
be better than us.
I'm good to the people in my life. Like, I have, other than my son who I yelled at before for breaking my chair.
He did.
Like,
he did.
I have good relationships with my family. Like I have 8 siblings. We all get along. We all love one another and we disagree about a lot. But like the people God put in my life, I love, and I do the best I can to be a good brother, a good husband, a good father. I do everything I can to do that. But I'm critical of like this thing that I see could be an issue in the culture because I'm really worried about it. So that's an issue that I'm very concerned with. I like when comes to things like immigration. Yeah, I see what this is doing to the communities in my country. So yes, I'm going to speak out about that. That doesn't make me uncharitable. Like, and yes, I'm going to defend myself against these insane accusations by Gavin Ashenden. Because it's actually like the subtle not saying our name, but just like it's like the what do you call that? Like when you tweet somebody like that,
Subtweeting.
It's like this subtweet that you're doing about me. Like everybody knows who you're talking about, but don't throw shots at me because first off, I've never done it to you. I don't like come out of the gate. When we addressed your conversation with Scott Hahn, I was very respectful to you, but this is just bizarre. Like saying I'm morally complicit in the Bondi attacks because we're having these conversations with Father Maudsley. Stop it. Like I'm just not, I don't know, man. I'm just not fooled by people. I kind of know. I know when I'm a pretty good judge of character. So I don't know. All right, we can end this. What I would like to actually do on locals, I have I have a very personal story that happened to me that the woman propaganda kid who got slapped, and then he was really embarrassed by the slap.
I haven't watched a second.
You haven't watched the video? Okay. Well,
no.
I would
I
have
know
done
what you're
it on,
talking about.
I would have done it on this side, but there's bad language in the video. But he basically, he went to an event and some guy came out and smacked him in the face and the kid ran away and everybody lambasted him and he was mortified and embarrassed. And so he tried to, like, you know, come back from it, and he goes back and he flew across the country to some other event this guy was at, and he tried getting in his face and he tried acting like a tough guy and he made a total fool of himself. Even worse, I want to tell us a personal story that happened to me that could help anybody that's in a situation like that, I think. Because these things do happen to us in life where you mean to, you cower down in a situation, and you might even think you're doing the right thing in the moment because you're swallowing your pride in the moment. And you're like, all right, I'm not going to get into a fight in this situation. But then you leave and it eats at your soul because you'd have been better off getting your teeth kicked in and going to the hospital than looking like a fool. A body and blatant crisis consulting. So that's what we're going to do on the other side. So at least one of the things we're going to do on the other side, and we'll do some other stuff. So if you guys are not local supporters,
I feel like we should have switched sides. Probably.
I probably should have done the Gavin thing over there.
I started that. That's my bad.
Yeah, you got me riled up. I wasn't even going to go.
Well, it was getting me riled up.
I saw you getting there, calling him a liberal and. Like, all right, we're gonna do this. We'll do this. Look, guys, I'm sorry. Sometimes things come out. Yeah. Wow. This show is everybody says this is definitely a local segment. Well, here's the thing. If you enjoyed that segment, that's kind of what we do on Locals. So if you enjoyed that, please come over and join our Locals. That's where I
still don't like swearing on Locals like I did just now. So
yeah, you gotta keep it cool, Rob. You can't be dropping F-bombs. That's
it's been a week of being miserably sick. Like I have energy for the first time in a week.
Yeah, I threw a chair across my basement because
I saw that and heard that.
Yeah, I kind of came into this show a little riled up. All right, so we're gonna go over to Locals, and I'm gonna try and explain how woman propaganda could have handled that, salvaged his reputation, and not destroyed his career by being a total idiot. Like he just looks even more foolish than he was. So come over to Locals, and we'll talk over there. That's a good point. So many Holocaust movies. How many Holodomor movies can you think of?
Not a one.
All right, take us out, Rob.
Do we have any good? I didn't get that song from Enoch up yet.
There's this that you know what? I want to plug Enoch's song. Can we just play that song going out?
If you gave me 3-4 minutes, maybe.
You can't get it up.
Well, hold on. Yeah, you know what? I bet if I just go to YouTube, I bet I can. Give me a second, everyone.
Yeah, I can find something
Can't
to
talk
about. Man, we have another good video of these three young black kids that stole a car and crashed. We could do that over on Locals too. Yeah, so all right, so I'm sorry, 3 young boys in Ohio, ages 8, 11, and 12, led police on a chase in a stolen car before crashing into a home, authorities said. Police reported the 11-year-old was behind the wheel and 3 fled on foot. When questioned by investigators, the boys said they went to a store when they spotted a vehicle. One boy allegedly said that something just came over his body and he could not control it. He needed to take the car. I want to talk about that. And we have the video of the cops running up on the kids. But let's go out of the show with this Enoch song. Like, if you guys don't have Enoch's album, go download it. This song, I don't know, man. I love this freaking song. It was such a good one. So we'll end with this.
Hey, everybody want their own Jesus. I don't want your version of Jesus. I want the real Jesus. You know what I'm talking about? Hey, I'm laid back and my Bible open. Gucci barely your only picture, flip my phone, I'm scrolling through, man. Why do I see some woke Jesus, some rainbow hugging hope Jesus? Don't deceive us, I don't need them. Let Rome teach us, let history speak from Josephus to Pope Leo. Hey, hey, give me that Christ who turned out better than flesh. Hey, give me that Christ who Sacramento blessed. Hey, give me that Christ who shed his blood for man. Hey, give me that Christ who shed his blood for myself. Hey, I don't want your Jesus, I just want the real one. I don't want your virgin, I just want the real head. I don't need no fluffy savior, you done made up. I don't want your Jesus, I just want the real one. I don't want